So, hello everyone. This is our Tuesday night live stream that we do after each event. And tonight we've got the top four cash winners from this weekend's previous event, the Reservoir Battle at Lake James and Kerr Scott. So, we got Ryan with us tonight.
What's going on?
We got Jacob Davis.
What's up?
We got Lou
What's up?
taking the second spot this weekend, and then we got this year's hammer, Mr. Kaleb Davis, with us tonight. But before we went live, we were talking about Toyota trucks and being victimized at boat ramps. And it's a pretty interesting conversation. Each one of these guys drives a Toyota. I'm trying to give them some sympathy. But I had a little issue with StreamYard this weekend, just to let you guys know about that. Facebook chopped the head off of StreamYard actually yesterday was the first day they implemented it. So you can't share directly to your group pages anymore. You have to share through your personal page and then share that to the group page. Not a big deal, but when you create the event, I was trying to look on Facebook and make sure it was showing up. Yeah, maybe somewhere. Anyway, but pain in the butt. Man, I didn't, so I'm sharing it over the group page right now. But Facebook must have not liked StreamYard using their stuff.
Yeah,
they weren't getting any money off of it or something. They're probably coming out with their own stuff here shortly.
Yeah,
StreamYard's pretty cool. It's better than Facebook Live because you can actually share your page. You can share pictures and different stuff, but sort of aggravating. I hate that they done that, but yeah,
yeah.
Facebook trying to make money somehow. But so this past weekend we were Reservoir Battle. It was the fifth time we done this. First time this year. Do it in the spring and do it again in the fall. And Kerr Scott pulled one out this time. James is it was 3-1. James versus Kerr Scott. So Kerr Scott trying to even that back up. Maybe they will here in 2024. So Kerr Scott's got 2. James has got 3, still leading the way. Kaleb put up a monster bag this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I was looking Sunday, and you have the biggest bag in a single day event, and you broke the tie. There was a tie between Jeremy Heath and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Another individual who had 22.25-inch bass. Both of those caught last year. So the 22.5-inch bass on a Catawba chain. Well, Kerr Scott in the Adkin Lake, but in the Foothills Trail, you are now the record holder of both largest bag in a single day and the biggest fish in a single day tournament. So congrats on that, Kaleb. 20.25-inch average. That'd be hard to beat, especially on the lakes we fish. That's some giant fish. Occasionally you'll run into the 20+ spot on Norman, but those are unicorns out on the Catawba chain for sure. And Lou came in second in Foothills and then cashed a check over in double dipping with Stephen Kids Club. What'd you end up with over there?
$200, like 53 and a half.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, so you made it out pretty good this weekend. Made a week's pay and fishing on a Saturday.
Yep.
Heck yeah. And Hookset got some good AOY points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got. It's not going to really show up until that zero shakes out of there, but yeah, man, yourself in contention again for the AOY run. Make it in the TOC. Jacob Davis, Mr. Third place this year. He got another top 3.
Appreciate it.
Took home a few $100 this past weekend, and definitely trying to keep Jacob and Lou trying to keep Kaleb honest this year.
Maybe when he put that bag up, I was like 60. It was like, what was it, 61? I was like, what?
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
We're all fishing for second now.
Yeah, so I had 54 and a half at like noon, and I had left my area where my fish were, and I let it rest because I knew there was still some fish in there that needed to reload, and left that area. Was like, I'm gonna give it an hour and a half. I looked at the standings. That was the first time I'd entered my fish because I didn't have service, and entered my fish and had like 54 and a half and was sitting in first. But I was like, I know this group that's behind me, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to cut it. I need one more big bite, and then caught that 22 and a half, and I was like, that should hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cold out like a 13-incher or something with that.
Yeah, I think it was a 15.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Ryan, you fished James, right?
Yeah, I was on Lake James, put in at Canal. I guess we'll get started. I'll tell you kind of how my day panned out. Well, I didn't have time to pre-fish. I mean, I just kind of went in blind. I wanted to kind of fish some history and okay, so let's back up. The boat tournament that was going out of there had me a little kind of shook on looking for largemouth because I knew them boats were going to be like, they were going to be dialed in and in pockets and looking for the bedding fish.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to kind of stay out of their way because I knew if I got into a pocket, looking for some, bedding fish or whatever, I knew I was going to get possibly frustrated because they were just going to roll up on me. Because I know there's a lot of money on the line with that tournament. And I kind of wanted to do something different, man. I just went junk fishing on a point and looking for some stuff that I was looking for last year when I came in second. But it just wasn't happening, because it was just earlier in the year. And, just dragging a shaky head early in the morning. I did, but I did catch my first walleye ever on a glide bait.
Wow.
In like 2 feet of water. So that kind of made my day first thing in the morning. I was like, I was thinking, look, if I suck today, I caught a walleye on a glide bait. I was like, all right, that done made my whole day, so. But yeah, starting off, like they just kind of, I noticed there was some fish shallow, but they were just kind of acting a little weird. And I just was chunking a shaky head at them. And I think I got my first fish pretty early, just in like 3 feet of water, kind of on a point. And man, it was just junk fishing because I was kind of using my live, kind of panning around, seeing what was going on, but there just was not a lot going on where I was at. So I was kind of sitting on a point and kind of playing around and hitting some docks close by, and I ended up picking off the largemouth. I think I caught a largemouth, and then I think I was kind of hoping something was going to happen on it. I just sat on the point all day because like I said, I did not want to get into the boater's way,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do what they were doing because they were in and out. I mean, they were running by me like I was looking like an idiot out there. Like, why is this dude sitting on a point? Because I don't know. I was just worried. I was just worried the whole time, thinking I was going to have a lot of pressure around me if I tried to run up into a creek, and I just didn't want to deal with that.
Why? Yeah.
And the old shaky head, and I think I was throwing I was throwing the Riot Baits probe in that money color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know that color. It's like a dark green, like a dark green, black color maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was throwing like the Zoom and let's see. Really, it was just a shaky head, and then shaky head all day.
Yeah, there's your early fish. It was like 7:35 or something.
Yeah.
Look like a mean mouth, maybe.
Yeah, that's a mean mouth. Yeah.
It's a good way to start the day. 17.5-inch fish.
Yeah. And the old largemouth, I caught him close to a dock. He wasn't underneath the dock. He was just kind of hanging out on the side. You got to think that the sun wasn't out, so I was just kind of just fan casting around the edge of the docks. I mean, kind of just junk fishing, man. I know that sounds crazy. I didn't catch a lot of numbers. I caught like 6 fish all day, 6 bass, and I just wasn't around a lot of numbers. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, here's your largemouth. It was around 9.
It was cool. He had that little spot on him.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited about that.
Yeah, I kept looking at his tail, how his tail is up there on the top side. I was like, man, if that ain't a good kayak fish, stretches him out. So that tail shouldn't have been but like 15 3/4, man, in that top piece. Half an inch off that dude.
Yeah, I think that kind of put me in 4th place.
Yeah. You resubmitted or you managed catch on that.
Yeah.
And jump up into the money.
Yeah, I was in 5th, and I started looking. I was like, hold up, I got another 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
And
you called me at like 10 with 10 minutes to go. I was like, you got time, man.
I was actually driving down the road, and my service wasn't good, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this or not. Yeah.
And then you caught. Let's see.
I think that spot, or whatever it is. I guess it's a spot. I kind of forgot what it was.
You caught it like 30 minutes later. So you had your bag that you ended up with the day. That one was caught at 9:42. I'm gonna pull it up here.
So yeah, my biggest fish of the day, I was that one was a little bit off the bank. I remember I found a brush pile, and I was really kind of throwing shaky heads in it and throwing that glide bait on top of it, and I seen there was a fish on it, but he was acting kind of weird. You know, I had the live. I was kind of panning out, looking and seeing what was going on, but after about 20 or 30 minutes, he finally just committed to biting.
You could see, you've seen him on the scope.
Yeah, because at first he just was not interested, and I just think, I don't know if I pissed him off.
Kept throwing at him, yeah. Sometimes that works.
Yeah, and that was about, man, and the rest of the day, well, I'm not going to say the rest of the day, but I think all the way to about 12 o'clock, I was catching short fish on docks. But after, when them boats came out, like the pontoons, I couldn't get another bite. I mean, I was fishing the mud lines on the points with a spinnerbait and stuff, trying to see if I could get a big bite like that, but it just wasn't happening. So,
well, he's a pretty fish. A lot of times these spots with the water being a little cooler still, I don't know, man. He looks like he might have some mean mouth in him or something.
Yeah, he's something. I don't know.
He's a little darker than the Lake Norman spot.
Yeah,
a little more green. That's pretty fish though.
I know he was jumping. He was mad, and I seen him jumping. I was like, I can fish, or it's a wrap. Yeah,
that's a pretty good bag though, Ryan. You ended up with over 50 inches, so 51 3/4 inch. And you did have a cull at some point. Your count was 3 plus 1, so
Yeah.
and all those were caught before 10 o'clock.
I know topwater didn't work. I was actually throwing topwater first thing, but they did not want the topwater. At least that they didn't want it from me. And I mean, wasted some time doing that.
What were the water temperatures up there?
Man, I cannot remember.
68. Was it that warm?
No.
It's like 66, 67.
Something like that, yeah. Man, I just think there was so much pressure on that lake because of the boats, and man, they were everywhere. I mean, the boats were everywhere where I was at. I mean, all day long they were blowing by me, and I don't know. I had some. I did catch a small short behind a boat that was fishing docks, and I was like, they said they were struggling, and I was thinking they would probably crack them pretty good. Because I knew the largemouth was going to win that boat tournament. And actually, I figured Kurt Scott would win this tournament.
Yeah.
I was just going out fishing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kurt Scott was sort of similar. There had to have been a boat tournament come out of somewhere. There were way too many boats cruising around. But it felt like the first day of summer, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Jacob, where did you fish at?
Yeah, Kurt Scott.
Okay. Yeah, on the 1 days I pay somebody to judge, and then if there's any fish that they're just not quite sure about, they'll leave them over. But a lot of times I just look real quick. I wasn't even sure where you fished at, but
yeah, I'd like to fish James. I fished it last year, but with all that pressure and just figured out to go to Kerr. I pre-fished it the Sunday before and sucked. Like I didn't land a single fish the Sunday before. But I don't know. Like I don't fish that lake that much, so I don't know if that lake fluctuates a good bit because we were fishing and we talked to a homeowner and he said the water was like 2 feet up, and when we were fishing it was like 6 inches of visibility.
Yeah,
and then whenever we went,
that lake fluctuates a ton.
Okay. Because then whenever on Saturday it was 2 feet visibility and the water level was down 2 feet from what it was, just 6 days prior.
Yeah. I'm sure they probably started pulling water. There's no way to stop the water coming into that lake, being that it's it's the beginning of the Yadkin chain pretty much. But yeah, we fished the lower end close to the dam, and it was super clear up there. It was probably 5 foot visibility.
Oh wow!
Damn. But they wasn't.
That Sunday we put in at what was it called, Warriors Creek, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's more of the muddier end, and then I put in at Smithy's Creek or Smithy's something.
Yeah.
On Saturday, and it might have been a boat tournament, or there was definitely a boat tournament going out of Smithy's. That whole parking lot was pretty full. And that's a wild lake for it to be like every ramp is only like one ramp.
Yeah. So,
and it's pretty hilly. And so going in this morning or Saturday morning, it was fine launching, but coming out, man, there was like a dozen trucks in line to pick up their boat or put in. And I had my wheels with me. And so I can't think of his name, but if he's watching this, I appreciate him. He helped me push it all the way up to my truck.
Yeah, that's a hill, man. That's a big hill too.
Yeah. There's no way. I had all intentions of doing that myself, but after he was helping me, hell no, it would have took me an hour to do that with all the breaks I'd have to take.
Like the world's strongest man contest, just taking tippy toeing up the hill.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, Kurt Scott, that was my third time fishing there. I fished it in the fall last year, and then pre-fished it, and then fished it, that Saturday. I like it. It sets up pretty well for me. I really tried to get topwater to work with buzz baits and whopper ploppers, but that wasn't working for me. But switched to a popper, and a popper caught me just about all of them.
Caught everything on a popper.
Yeah, well, the biggest I caught was on a bed, and I caught it with a Cinco.
You throw in the Mega Bass popper.
Yeah, the Pop X. Yeah,
yeah, they got the Pop X and the Pop Max.
Yeah,
yeah, the little ones. The Pop X works pretty good,
and it's real. The hook are
pretty good.
I was multiple times, and I had the drag pretty loose on it, and I had to bend the hooks back because it was they're just really thin hooks on that Pop X.
Oh yeah. Garrett didn't get to fish with us. That's one of his favorite lakes, and he'll go up there, man. It don't matter what time of the year, and he'll go up there and throw a Rapala popper and a freaking buzzbait, and usually catch a good fish. And he'll throw topwater all day up there. And yeah. I knew that from him. And Melvin last year, Melvin Yang, he either won it or came in second, and he done that in the spring event last year. All day, said he threw a buzzbait.
I mean, I caught. Like a dozen, 12 to 15 fish all day, and just a lot that were 12 to 14 inches, and my smallest was 16. So, I'd just catch them and release, and then go back to it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, so it's kind of funny. So, like the wind was whipping at the end of that, like it was whipping. And I was throwing a lure, and it's more of an expensive lure, and I got it hung in like a foot of water on a laydown, like just a single log, and I could see it. So I was like, hell, I'm getting that thing. And so, I went over to it, and I couldn't get it unhung. And, when you stop pedaling, you're going back 5 feet instantly. And so I just like put my leg out, and I was just going to anchor down with my foot in the water. Well, hell, it was mud, and I went all the way up to my knee, and I was stuck, and the wind's pushing me.
Oh, no.
I just ever so gracefully rolled out of my kayak. I got my lure back. I'm holding onto the kayak with one arm, and I'm unhooking it with the other, and I just got back in it, and I went in up to here in a foot of water, laying, just. I was like, you got to be kidding me. There was like 15 minutes left, and I was like, I'm done.
Let's look at your fish here. You caught, I believe it said 10 o'clock. Let's see.
Yeah, it took a while for me to get my first fish, and then I think it was the biggest one I had, the 1875. I caught it, and I was having phone issues. I couldn't get it to submit for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it can be spotty up there. You ain't got Carolina West Wireless, Verizon.
Yeah, no, I got eight. I got AT&T, man, and it's terrible.
Yeah. This is a pretty.
Is that 18? Yeah, it's the 1825. That's the old Bubba one. It looks like.
Yeah, he's got some personality, man.
Yeah.
Oh, if that fish could talk, he'd be like.
I'll tell you one thing.
And let's see. That one was called it. That was your first fish you held on to it. You called 4 times. It says you were 3 plus 4, but that one was at 954. So that was your first.
Yeah, I caught a bunch of small, 12, 13s a little bit before that, but you just never knew. So I went ahead and submitted them at that point. But
this one come 30 minutes later, 10:30.
Yeah, but I feel like I couldn't submit it until like after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whenever I think it came through. That's the one I caught on a bed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's got a nice kayak tail too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see looking through some of the fish, didn't really see any bloody tails out of the few people I knew that came out of Kerr Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see a whole lot of bloody tails.
Yeah, that one was kind of cool. Whenever it was kind of hard you couldn't really bed fish at that time of day because it was so overcast.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really see. And I kind of had gone over this huge stump. I mean, this stump was like 5 foot diameter, and the fish had his bed in the center of that stump in like 3 feet of water. So I spooked it. So I fished that cove for 20 minutes and then came back to it, and I think 2 or 3 times to a little wacky rig over there and caught it.
And got it to bite. And then your smallest fish that you ended up creating your limit with, you caught it at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was a 16. So you needed one more 18.
Yeah.
Put you on up the board there.
But it was a fun day. I mean, catching them on poppers, man, it's a lot of fun doing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll keep you interested at least. You're not sitting there.
I mean, like every single cast, it could be a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poppers are known to catch big fish.
Hey, and the 18, whatever it was, the 18.25, whenever so I mean, like I said, I caught probably 12, 13 fish on the popper. And so enough to where I was like bending my hook, like I've already had to change the hooks out because I thought it was just going to snap off whenever I was bending it back. That one right there hit it, and I thought it was like a 6-incher. I mean, it didn't fight at all. And whenever it got 10 feet from the kayak, it opened up its mouth, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
The typical largemouth bite, you just never know, man.
Yeah.
Lazy. Yeah. Water temperature down at the dam was I don't think it ever got up to like 66. I think was the highest I seen it, something like that. It was a little lower in the morning, but
I think it was 67 where I was. And what was wild, that Sunday prior, it was 57. So like whenever I put my kayak in that morning, I was like, 67. Good Lord. All right.
Yeah. Those couple 80-degree days last week, that really pushed the temps up. Scott just a little information, but they'll start spawning down on that end and then work their way up towards the dam. Kind of like Norman. I mean, if you fish Norman enough, the spawn starts at Ramsey and down towards Blythe, and it just works its way up the lake. So, but that's
when I was pre-fishing up in, I don't know what creek it is, but it's the creek that there's like, I feel like on a map that looks like there's two creeks that feed into it. It's the one on the west side of it.
Yeah.
It was like in just a 50-yard stretch, it was 53 degrees and 63 degrees in like a 50-yard stretch. And I guess that's just where the current was coming in, hugging the side, and then it was like the shallower, silt side, I guess, the silt runoff side. But
yep, those rivers, man. Was it pretty dirty up in there? I mean,
in the 60-something degree side, it was dirty, but in the 53, it was like 3-foot visibility, which was wild in like a 50-something yard stretch.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I was throwing all kinds of stuff. I didn't get bit at all, so I was like, all right, Xing this spot out.
Yeah, those feeder creeks, both of those creeks, they go up towards Boone and like Ashe County. But if you follow those creeks and stuff on up, man, there's some good trout fishing up in there. Cold water streams. I always say there's got to be a giant trout somewhere in Scott. I've never seen anybody catch one, but
I caught one last spring. It was a 24-inch brown.
Really?
Wow.
I was bass fishing, and it smoked a swim bait in about 5 feet of water.
Yeah. Yeah, all the little guys, that the trout, they're so soft. I'm sure the bass, if anything does make it down through there, if it's not big enough, it's getting
ate.
Getting molested. Yep.
Is there any smallmouth in Scott or no?
Yeah. So
I've never seen one, but
it's weird. I've got a friend of mine who fishes Scott a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, I've never gone up and caught both largemouth and smallmouth. He said, but I've gone up in the fall and got on a jerkbait smallmouth bite and just hammered them and had a 20-pound bag of smallmouth.
Really?
He said, but no largemouth when I caught that 20-pound bag of smallmouth. He said, but every time I go up there and catch largemouth, I don't catch any smallmouth.
So no spots up there.
There are now.
Yeah.
There didn't used to be, but
primarily largemouth, I would say. I would say it's 50-50 what you're pulling in up there.
Yeah, I've never been up to Kerr Scott. I mean, that's kind of why I didn't go. Like, I just never been up there. I need to try it one day.
It fishes a lot different than the Catawba chain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no floating docks. There's some similarities to James floating docks, bluff walls, depending on where you're at. But it's got some river channels. But it's only like 1,400 acres or something. Super small. You can fish the whole thing in 10 hours, man, if you wanted to.
I guess whenever there's like big time floods and rains, like you can see all the debris. This hell, it's like 15 feet up in the trees.
Yeah, so so back during we duck hunt up there a lot, and back during duck season, we had all those big rains come through. They closed the ramps for 2 weeks because the water it was up. I think they said 16.5 feet or 17 feet, something like that.
I believe it because some of the homeowners have those poles that connects the walkway, and the poles are 35 feet tall.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob, we'll flop over to Lou. Let him tell us about his day. Lou, if you got to leave at some point, Lou just got home not too long ago. So if you got to pop out of here,
Yeah, I'll part after I get my recap.
Yeah, man. That's cool.
But I went to Lake James. I saw Ryan too. He was like unloading with his wife, unloading everything. It was like I was watching that for a little bit. I was like, look like they're gonna struggle a little bit. And then we was waiting, and then first thing my mind was, I gotta beat this boat traffic to where I want to go. That's the first thing I had in my mind. So as soon as it went, I went right, went straight all the way, and I went over there, got to my spot. Luckily, no boats went over there. They went all the way towards like Linville and stuff. So they didn't go to my area. And then as soon as I was about to pull up, I just like a regular fisherman that drives a boat, pulled up to where I was gonna go fish at that point. And then I let him fish it, and I just went left of him. I came back. I was fishing for like an hour or so on the left side, came back, and then as soon as he left, I was just flipping all the time, throwing like top water, throwing flukes, like everything, because I wasn't getting nothing by the first hour or so. And then I got to that spot, the point, and then as soon as I pulled up, there was a largemouth busting on shad. And then I switched over to my popper, first pop, and I got that one on the first cast. That was my first fish by like, I think around eight something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to go towards that cove over there, but then I saw that same boat, another yakker. And then I got out the whole time. And I left the whole time. When I went right, I was just like beating points to points. And like kind of like towards the inner side of the points and stuff on both sides. And then I lined up with this boat guy that was coming from the other side on this point. And then he was talking to me if I caught anything. I only caught that one. And he said he caught smallmouth just coming out from the other side. And then so he wasn't doing, because he was fishing the CBC too, and he wasn't doing that good. And then he left, and I threw a fluke on that side, and I caught a smallmouth after he left. And I was like, I just went fish after him, and then went from point to point again. I didn't catch nothing. And then, because I was just fishing like history from last year. I went pre-fishing, but I went pre-fishing from my fall spots to see if it was hitting during the spring. It didn't work out, so I just went to my the same time when caught in the spring, because I was mentioning Cody about Kerr Scott, because I haven't really been there too.
Coming there, yeah.
I was mentioning Cody, but I never ended up going. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to Lake James, and then I pedaled probably like 2 miles, and then while I was pedaling, I was seeing like these pontoon people like flagging down boaters, and I was like, what's going on over here? And then I saw like probably like 30 people just swimming across the lake, and they were just like, I think they was doing this. Yeah, they was doing this practice or something. They was hiking like 15 miles and swimming 5 miles.
Yeah,
Lord.
Yeah, I was talking to the game warden, so he was there too. And then he said it was pretty crazy. And I had to wait for them to like cross, and I was like cross. They was going from island to island to island to island. Started from Patty's Creek all the way close to the dam, make the way back circle. It was pretty far. Then got to my next spot, and then there was a boulder there, and then I pulled up, and then they was about to leave, and then they caught one, and I was like, man, I needed that one too.
Yeah, right in front of you.
Yeah, and then I was fishing. It was just like a long stretch of riprap, and then it gets like really deep, and I was just sitting around about 8 feet, 8 to 10 feet, and I was just casting like I was like right side by side by the bank, but staying like 8 to 10 feet of water. I was throwing a wacky rig, and I was just bombing it like parallel to the bank of where I'm at, and then just slowly jigging it. And caught the first fish out there was my 19 smallmouth, and then I caught like probably like 4 more or 5 more doing that, just going back and forth. The whole time I was there, I was just like going back and forth that stretch right there. And I probably caught like at 2 in the morning, and the rest of my fish came off of that stretch. I probably only caught like 6 or so during that spot. I was just milking it from like all the way to like 10 to like 2 o'clock. I was just milking it.
Yeah, this fish is your smallmouth, and it's your big fish. It was caught at 10:45. So
Yeah, something like that. And then I caught like a bunch of like mean-mouth, like 2, 3 mean-mouth, and then like another smallmouth on that same stretch. So I was just like, I'm just gonna stay there the whole day. There's no boats. I don't have to worry about waves or anything.
Yeah.
And nobody was like fishing it except for like me. So I just stayed there the whole day until like 2 o'clock. I just made my way back to the ramp. It was a pretty far pedal back, so I just gave up after that.
No need to leave fish.
Well, I was fishing it for probably like a good like from I think it stopped biting after 12. Like I was doing the same thing, throwing shaky head too, didn't get no bite. Throwing like swim bait, same thing, and I wasn't getting no bites. And I was fishing like that for like 2 hours, and then I didn't get nothing, so I just made my way back.
Yeah, you caught this one 10 minutes later. This one was like 10:55, and that's a pretty color fish too. It looks like
I think that's a meatmouth too.
Some different genetics in him. Yeah.
And then before that 19, I actually lost one too. I set the hook on it, and he fought, and he just came off. I was like, damn. Hopefully that's not the only one. Then I caught like probably like 4 more or 5 more after that. It was actually pretty good. Just that area. I didn't do good nowhere else. I just got the right bites at the right time. That's it.
Yeah, that's the difference, man.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like you.
Yeah.
And there's your that looks like more like a smallie, I guess.
Yeah, that was small. That one, I was working my way back towards the other side again, and I didn't know there was like brushes there and like that deep. And I was like, let it sink on the ball in there. I got bit. I set the hook on it, and it got stuck. I was like, oh man, hopefully it comes off. And then I was just like sitting there letting it fight. I was still let it fight, and it came out. And then I netted it. I was like, yeah, this is the one I probably needed to probably stay up there. And I think that was my last fish. I think that was my last fish.
That you caught?
Yeah, during the day. I think so.
Yeah, that one was at 12 something.
12 that was my last fish that I caught all day. I caught no fish after that.
What's that pretty looking Daiwa reel you got right there? What is that?
It's the Steve SV. Yeah, I got like that. That's not the one that I want from the raffle.
Yeah.
Cody's been doing a lot of raffles now, that lady.
Oh yeah, man, too much.
Yeah, that's how my day went. Good thing I left too, because the wind started picking up. It was blowing in my face too, so I was pretty glad that I left.
So did you cut out early then?
I left right at 3:15.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you're always a threat on Lake James.
Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna stick to Lake James. I've been to Curtis Scout like once, yakking. I always go like shore fishing down at the spillway down there.
Yeah.
Cause I'll catch like stripers, hybrids, smallmouth, spotted bass, everything down there. But then up here, I haven't really done any good. I probably caught like 3 fish, but they was all small. So
yeah, I looked for you that morning. That's where we went, but you made the right call, Chester. Man, it was tough down there. John Ladd was there. Alex was there. Alex was there for an hour and a half, man, and he was cussing.
Oh man,
I'm leaving. He left and went home. He said he won the carp tournament Friday night. So
He's good already.
he was cussing, but he was smiling. He was like he done won $500 the night before. So
yeah, I talked to John Ladd, and he was like, "Man, it was." He said that there was a boat tournament going out of Kerr too, and
yeah,
he said he struggled to get in quality.
Yeah, Kerr's a good lake, man. James, I don't know who Alex talked to, but he was like, I should have went to Lake James. He said, I'm hearing that there's the boat traffic ain't too bad up there and the fish are biting.
I only caught 6 fish all day.
Yeah.
I was about the same thing, probably like 6 or 7, so all day too.
And I think that was part of luck. I mean, that's
I think I caught 5 and I missed 5. I missed so many fish. Fishing clean, man, that's the difference a lot of times. Connecting on all your bites.
Yeah.
Especially when it's that first one and you lose it.
Yeah, that'll just
that one actually hurts the most.
your whole game off. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Lou, we appreciate you coming and fishing, man. We'll not
Yes, sir.
keep you so you can go get you something to eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go clean up. So
yeah, dude.
So you guys have at it.
Yeah, dude.
Congrats, Lou.
I appreciate it.
Keep Kaleb honest, man. Continue to keep Kaleb honest.
I thought I had it for a little bit. He came out of nowhere too.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
We'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir.
So Lou, second place. Lou cashed a check with the Mountain Motor Boys. I think he took home $300 on the Foothill side, and I'm not sure what he took from the other guys. A couple $100. I think $200. So he had a pretty good day too, Kaleb. He got $500 payday, but Kaleb been throwing it down this year. 2 wins in a row, 2 good bags in a row, and I got the AOI stuff done. I'll throw it up at the end of the little stream here, but you got a nice little lead, man. 3 tournaments in, you got 2. You got a 40 plus bag, a 50 plus bag, and now a 60 plus bag. I think you're like 13 inches ahead of somebody. Blue. Okay.
Yeah, so I think right now I'm on a 55-inch average. So
yeah, it's looking like your season to lose.
Yeah, I know. Don't put no pressure on me. I've been fishing stress free this year, so. But yeah, so I'll just run a recap of my day. So I've got some history with Kerr Scott. Had a decent finish there last spring and last fall. Last year I definitely fished with. I let stuff get to me. I let the little things get to me all year last year, and that was the big thing going into this year that I wasn't going to let happen. Just trust what I know, trust my ability, and stay with it even if stuff happens. And so I knew I was going to fish Kerr Scott. Didn't want to mess with the CBC on James, even though leading up to Kerr Scott, leading up to this tournament, I had fished Kerr Scott a few times earlier in the year, not done real well. Caught maybe my biggest fish was probably 16 inches. Had left this area alone the last time I fished it, which was last week. The weekend before. Left this area alone. It was my plan A. I'd never caught a fish in this area, but it set up right. And I just had a gut feeling that if the conditions lined up right, if the water temp was right, water level was right, it could play. And so I was on the upper end of the lake, same as Jacob. So I had the area I was actually most of my fish came out of was pretty dirty water. It's super shallow stuff. And so my plan B was go down the lake if stuff didn't work and try and scope some. But plan A was if the water temp was right, when I got to the ramp in the morning, we were turning the graphs off, pulling the live scope pole up, and not doing any of that all day long. And luckily that's how that worked. First fish of the day was an 18 3/4. Caught it on the way to my area, which I'd hoped that I could catch one good fish on the way there because that relieves a little, takes a little bit of the pressure off when I get there. So I caught that 18 3/4 early on a shaky head off a laydown. On the way there, I mean, it took me about 2 hours to get to my area. Actually, I think it's closer to 3 hours to get to my area. I wasn't going straight there. I was fishing on the way, but it was about 2 miles down there. So on my way there, I was fishing a shaky head, got there, and the only other thing I'd caught on the way was a 12.5-inch spot. And so I knew I needed this area to really produce. So pulled up in the first pocket. There were 2 pockets that were set up very similar. Pulled into the first one, started throwing the buzz bait. It didn't feel right. There were a ton of turtles around, and I was like, this might not be a good sign. So fished the buzz bait, and I was throwing the True South V-Twin. If you guys aren't throwing that buzz bait, I have no affiliation with those guys, but that's the best buzz bait on the market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I was fishing around a laydown in this pocket and had a giant come up and eat it. And it was easily a 21-inch fish, got it up next to the kayak and missed the net job the first time. I switched to a smaller net this year and I was kicking myself for it. Missed the net job the first time, came back up and almost gave me a second opportunity, dove underneath the kayak, definitely a 6-pounder, and the buzzbait came flying out. And I was tore up, but I gave myself 5 minutes to throw myself a pity party and then was like, got to put my head back down and get back to work. So fished the rest of that pocket, only had one more blow up, didn't catch any fish there. And so went to the next area that set up very similar, got in there, got into the shallowest stuff I could get into, to the point I no longer had a drive. I had my drive out and was paddling around, throwing a buzzbait around any piece of brush I could. Caught a 15.5 and then a 14.5. Kept working around that pocket and threw over another laydown. And there was a little gap that I could get my buzzbait to feed through. As it came through that little gap, 20.25 blew up on it. Got that one in, and that relieved a lot of stress. I think at that point I was sitting at like 54.5, and knew that was going in. I wanted 54 inches for AOI points. So that took a lot of pressure off. Decided I'd seen a couple more big blowups in that area and decided to leave it, let it rest for a couple hours. So went down and fished some bluff walls with some laydowns with a shaky head. Caught a 15 3/4. Talked to another guy who was in the tournament who I was like, he was needing some fish. I was like, hey, fish this. I'm going to leave it. Ended up catching, it was actually Jody. And he ended up catching 19.25, I think, off of the stuff I told him. I said, just you fish this and I'm going to leave it. And he ended up catching a 19.25. So that was pretty neat. And then
that fish is pretty big. That 20.25, man, that's a pretty healthy fish too.
Yeah, it was right at 5 pounds. So then probably, I don't know, 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I went back into that pocket, and that bite really depended on two things. It depended on cloud cover and rain, or it depended on cloud cover and a little bit of wind. And so when the 20.25 bit and that 21 came off, I had cloud cover and a little bit of a shower. And then I left it, came back when the wind started to pick up a little bit. And I was like, the bite should turn back on.
Yeah, it did.
Went back into that pocket, was fishing around, and skipped the buzzbait up underneath an overhanging tree. As I was rolling that thing out, it got right to the edge of that overhanging tree, and it just sounded like a shotgun went off. And I set the hook. I knew it was big when it bit. I set the hook, and it came up and rolled, and I was like, oh, that's a really big fish. And then it jumped, and I was like, oh, that's a 7-pounder. And it ran me underneath the kayak a couple times and managed to finally get it in the net, and was fired up, and, too fired up in the moment, and may end up costing myself the monthly. but called Cody, thought that fish wasn't going to count at all because of where my ID tag was. But luckily, I'm gonna give all the glory to God on this one. I could read the code through the fish's fin, and I called Cody and was like, "Hey, I don't know how the rules work on this one. Can you count this if you can read it clear through the fin?" And he was like, "Yeah, as long as I can read it clear, we're good." And I was like, "Thank goodness," because I just let it go.
Yeah, you called me and I was like, I ain't even looking at that fish. I said, man, I don't want to have to make that call. And I was thinking it turned out a lot better than I thought. I mean, you can clearly see what the ID says, and that's what the rules say. ID's got to be 100% visible. So anybody looking at that can tell what that ID says. And that would have been a heartbreaker to have to say, oh, man, I can't take
but that those 3 fish ended up going for just shy of 16 pounds. So it was a dang bag, and to have lost a 6-pounder, I mean, I was thrilled, but in the back of my head, I was like, wow, that could have been, an 18-pound bag of 3 fish. But it was just an awesome day. I'm just so grateful to have been able to go out and just to experience that bite, and just it all come together. You go into something that you haven't spent practice time on, and just bank on your gut and what you know. And when it works out like that, it feels really good. And when it doesn't, it stings a little bit. But this time it worked out. And then that was probably with 2 hours left or so. I decided to work my way back to the ramp, fish a shaky head a little bit, and fished or caught 2 more that were between 17 and 18 inches on a shaky head. So I had a lot of good fish that day. I think I had 95 or 96 inches for my best 5.
Yeah, you caught your smallest fish that made up your bag, 722, then 1052. You caught the first 20 and a quarter, and then the 22 and a half at 1 o'clock, 1:08. So your bag was spread across there from 7 to 1.
Yeah, the biggest thing was, and it's been hard for me to get to a point where I have the confidence in myself and what I know to lock a bait like a buzz bait in my hand all day long. But when it works, it's hard to beat.
I think I gave up on the buzz bait too.
And the V-twin will get a big ball.
Yeah, Kaleb called me and asked me about it. He was wanting me to let me know about his fish and stuff, and I was like,
he's like, where are you?
I think I said, where you at Kerr Scott? Yeah, and I was like, well, where you at in first? Where you at place wise? And he was telling me what he's got, and I was picking him. I was like, well, what are you fishing with? And he said a buzz, man. As soon as I got off the phone, I was digging in the tackle box. I found a whopper plopper. I had a whopper plopper. Man, I threw that thing for 30 minutes. I was like, man. But
yeah, that's what's crazy. I talked to.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I talked to
the V-twin is a special bait, man.
It's got a different sound. That's for sure than normal buzz bait.
And I made a little modification to mine. I'm not going to give that secret out, but it makes its own sound compared to the normal V-twin even, and that's not as much for Kerr Scott because it doesn't get fished a lot on Kerr Scott. But Norman, that bait gets fished a lot, so any little tweak you can make makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things like, I mean, I know with the V-twin, I know the gold blades make a louder sound than the regular, the anodized blade. But sometimes you can squeeze them blades together and get a good little clack, 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 sound. And there's a lot of stuff you can do to it.
Yeah. It's sort of a finessey type buzz bait,
Yeah, it's not as big a blades, no.
Mm-hmm. Sounds real kind of not such a high pitched ding ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got 2 of them. You got the one that's more like the smaller blades, and you can get the buzz toed frame too, and it's
okay.
Yeah. They're both great, man. They're pretty good. They're pretty durable too. That's the thing about it.
I'll say that one was toast. I couldn't fish it anymore after I caught that 7-pounder on it. It was pretty mangled from that day of fishing.
Yeah, I've caught a good one on Sharon Harris before, like 2 good ones, and you can just bend it back out, adjust it, keep on rolling.
Yeah, I'd bent that thing out after that 21 and that 20 and a quarter, and one small one in between those two. And so when that big one ate on it, I was like, I bent that thing a lot. I sure hope that thing don't break when this thing digs underneath the kayak. But
I'm excited to throw one of those for. I'm gonna miss Falls because I got to go to Santee Cooper, but I'll be chunking a V twin there.
Oh, I can promise you, I'll be chunking one on Falls. That may be the first half of the day on that lake.
Yeah, that ought to be an interesting event.
Yeah, what's funny is going into that event, I've got a completely different mindset. I'm not fishing to cash a check. I'm fishing for 3 big bites. Everybody else is going to be fishing for 5. I'm fishing for 3 because I need the AOI points.
Yeah.
You got the right mindset. You already got to jump. I mean, you already got to jump ahead. You might as well think like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if I can get one more 55-inch day, it takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the year.
Oh yeah.
Well, here, let's look at the AOI while we're talking about it. It won't let me zoom in on this screen here, but yeah, Caleb, you got 47 3/4. Wish I could pull it up a little closer, but 47 3/4, 55 3/4, and a 61.5, man.
Yeah, it's a big bag.
Almost, you got 165 total inches right now because you've had 3 pretty good events, and you got a 19-inch lead over second place, which is Lou. Crazy, man. Almost a 30-inch lead. Well, Jacob, close to a 30-inch lead, man. Jacob's got a 29. Needs to get rid of.
Yeah,
it'll come in the.
Me and Hickory don't get along.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Hickory?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I kind of going into this event wanted to prove a little bit of a point, not to anybody in this club, but to just the fishing industry as a whole. After going out and winning an event scoping in 30 feet of water, I was like, I want to go bust them on a dang top water in about 2 feet.
Well, yeah, I mean, I noticed before I talked to you, I come home, I was looking at your fish, and I seen the sniper pole laying in the floorboard. Like, man, you got all that money invested in that. You ain't even using it.
Didn't even turn it on.
He did it right. I mean, there's a time and place to put that damn thing away. I'm telling you, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I waited. There's a reason I waited as long as I did to get live scope on my kayak, and it was because I had fished with it on boats and boat tournaments quite a bit, and I knew that I needed to get to a point where in my confidence level where I was willing to set it down and not fall victim to what it can do to you, because it can take you and make you a lot worse fisherman than you are if you let it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never messed with it.
I always tell people it's a 50-50 thing for me. It's helped me 50% of the time, and it has freaking burned me. It has burned me. I mean, and I'm still trying to learn that balance right now.
I'll tell you, Cody can see, I've spent a lot of time on the water every chance I get, free time after work, trying to catch Carson in this monthly. And I have only one day since our Hickory tournament is the only time I've been scoping. The rest of the time I've just been out fishing because I felt like I was getting a little bit away from that and losing some confidence in that because of all the time leading up to the Hickory tournament I spent scoping. And I was like, I need to get back grounded and get back to fishing old school and getting some confidence back in some other stuff. So
yep. Flipping a jig, throwing a top water. Yeah. Got to do that, man.
Yeah, this time of the year, I mean, it'll play toward the bank beaters a little more. And come June, July, the scope will help you a little more, I'm sure.
Now, unless you get on that mega topwater bite in the morning.
Yeah, it'd be hard to put that thing down.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, you're which you got two pretty good. I mean, you're sitting at like a 45-inch average. So this weekend went a long way to help you.
It's going to be tough for me. I know I got a vacation set up for the same weekend as the charity event, unfortunately, and then I'm missing falls, but I'm gonna hit all the other ones. So we'll see how it goes. Not really. I'm just going fishing.
How many drops do we get?
It's your best 5. So if you fish everything, you got 4 this year, which opens up the opportunity for you to fish other trails and stuff. And while I got this pulled up, I just want to give a special shout out to the wife. The wife sitting in 4th place. What is up with that, man?
It's rolling.
Yeah, putting me to shame. Let's see where I'm at. 26. Oh my god.
She was in first for a little bit on Saturday.
She was.
Yeah. Keep that momentum going. Yeah.
Yeah, she was excited.
Yeah, she'll be
in the quarter.
Tell her to keep her head down and keep fishing hard.
Yeah, she's got patience, man. She goes out and fishes. She's got patience, man. I'll spin out. I'll be running freaking 5 miles all over the lake, and I'll text her, "Where you? I'm still in the same cove." But you find fish, don't leave them.
Yeah,
I gotta learn. I gotta remember to do that. Don't be leaving fish.
That's my problem in the summertime. Is, man, sometimes there's days you got to slow down. There's days you got to speed up too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well,
things.
Thursday, John's gonna have a little live stream. Maybe you've seen posted up on the Facebook page and talk about the charity event. There's gonna be some super cool prizes. Him and John and Fenway. John approached me about doing that event, and then I was like, "Hey, Fenway's with the Purple Heart Foundation. Why don't you guys kind of team up?" And man, they are freaking killing it this year as far as raising money for that charity. Almost unbelievable. And the only thing that it's associated with Foothills is that they're running it through our little club. Having the event, fishing event. Yeah. But it's all John and Fenway. I ain't done a whole lot of nothing. I've sent them texts. You guys are killing. I'm trying to encourage them. You guys are killing it. But man, they got some cool prizes. The gift bag, dude, it's gonna be freaking sick. Even if you can't fish the event, you're gonna want to buy that gift bag because there's
awesome.
I ain't going to. I don't want to preempt them. They're gonna talk about it Thursday, but
okay.
I wish I could buy like 3 entries and get 3 gift bags. Honestly, man, it's gonna be some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, I plan on doing that. I hate I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna be in Florida for a week, so man, I just kind of hate it. But
yeah, man, it is what it is. We weren't even gonna do an event in July. I was gonna leave that event that month open on the Foothills side, and then it just worked out where John and them wanted to do this, and we stuck that event in there. It's going to be a points event too, but just wanted to shout them out tonight and tell you guys, people are watching, people watch it later. Tune in Thursday. John and Fenway are going to drop some really cool details about that event. Like I said, you guys are going to want to sign up just to get that gift bag. And Falls Lake, a week from Saturday, the Carolina Classic will be the second time we've ran it. And it's CKA, CCKF, and Foothills this year. Central Carolina Kayak Fishing, CCKF, and Mitch. They're kind of the host club, and CKA is going to come alongside them and kind of help them with the event. And the Foothills guys, we're just showing up. It's going to be by their rules, so CCKF rules. Motors allowed. I mean, it is what it is. But I'll pull our numbers. It'll be a 3 fish limit for the foothills side.
I will say, just for the guys who maybe haven't read the rules and might look over this, you can't pinch tails. So don't want anybody to get a fish DQ'd because they pinch a tail.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Linden, he kind of he got his feelings hurt a little bit. He would have cashed a small check, I think, in the Mountain Motors this weekend, and he pinched the tail on one of his fish, and that's, KBF rules. It's hand on the center of the fish. But yeah, that's CCKF. That's sort of the way they do too. Pretty sure they're 5 fish limit.
Yeah,
motors allowed. But that it'll be a cool event. I'm excited to fish falls, fish some grass, just a totally different fishery from what we're used to fishing. We're camping. You got anybody who's watching this or watches it later, hit me up. I'll tell you exactly where we're camping at. There's a couple other guys camping around us. So it'll be a cool little time to fellowship and hang out and cook some food. But
I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna be going to Santee for that weekend.
Yeah, they kind of scheduled that on that weekend. And then next year, Foothills is going to be the Carolina Classic. Call it the Carolina Classic, but it's only this. We done it twice, but 10 years, man, that'll be a 10-year. The annual event 10 years later, that'll be a cool name. Like, yeah, I remember the Carolina Classic back in 2022. And I don't know, we may end up doing Lake James or something, doing some camping up there for the Classic when we host it. But
I like the state park. I've camped there before.
Yeah, there's some decent camping up there. The lake's big enough to hold 100 anglers.
Cody, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I know there was a post made asking about what everybody's thoughts were on what the entry fee should be, but then the event is posted with a $45 entry fee. So, I didn't want to go ahead and pay the $45 entry fee if that's not what the fee is. So, do you know?
Yeah, well, last year it was $100, and I think first place. I mean, it wasn't but 50 some people signed up last year, and first place paid $2,500. Big Fish was like $650 because they took $10 instead of $5. But yeah, I seen the event on Tourney X. I'm actually supposed to talk to Mitch and Hank and Eric and all of them. We're supposed to get on a little live stream tomorrow night and just chit chat about it. So yeah, just hold off on signing up just in case they end up changing it and making it a little more. Some people wanted it to stay 100. Some people were like, hey, drop it.
I know some people were talking about doing the standard 45, which is what CCKF's is, and doing like a side pot.
That would be a good thing to do
for the guys who want to pay more and have a chance at winning more. So, I like that format, but
that's a good mention, man. I didn't even thought about that, but I'll mention that tomorrow night because they can just throw that in there and freaking, friends and family PayPal another $50 over if you want to get in on the big money side. But yeah, I'll drop that to them tomorrow. Well, I'll not keep you guys any longer. It's 9:00. Ashley got some buffalo chicken wings in there or something. I can smell it. But I appreciate y'all coming on and sitting down, chit-chatting for a little bit. But Ryan, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, want to thank my wife for putting up with all the tournament stuff, and big shout out to all the sponsors with Foothills Kayak Anglers and all you do, Cody. And
yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan.
Love what y'all do, and I hate I'm gonna miss the next one, but I'll be back on, after the fall. So,
heck yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you too, Jacob.
To my girlfriend for watching my dog whenever I go fish for 10 hours a day, like every weekend. So,
yeah.
No, she puts up with it. She lets me go do it. So, just to her, I guess.
KD?
Yeah, for me, first and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity and giving me the platform. And want to thank my fiance for, just like you guys are saying, putting up with it. There's a lot of time spent on the water, but she's super supportive. And I want to thank my parents as well. They're always supportive. Even on those days when it's tough and you want to beat up on yourself because you drop 3 fish next to the net or let one flop off the board and it costs you a check or something like that. They help you realize that it happens and gotta keep your head up and go to the next one.
Yeah. Hopefully she keeps loving you when you're not winning.
Yeah. Well, she put up with last year and the disappointment after missing the TOC. So she's a keeper.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Well, you're getting some revenge this year.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, you top money guy so far. So.
Leaving everybody in the dust right now.
Yeah.
When I pulled up the leaderboard and I saw it was 61 something, I was like, good God.
Hey, but with this group of guys, you can't let up for a second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I keep waiting. Some of those guys didn't fish this weekend. Ped.
Yeah.
B's got some good points. He'll jump right back up there once everything cycles out.
He won it last year, I think. Last spring,
Yeah.
he did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And Austin.
Yep.
Austin.
I'll tell you, I didn't know B wasn't fishing. I just saw him on the leaderboard with 0 inches, and I was like, ain't no way he's got 0 inches. That's why I went back and I was like, I got to catch something big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he even fished. I never did talk to him. He signed up. You got to have 5 or you got to at least sign up for 5. So maybe he was thinking like I might not be able to make it here or there. And he just signed up. But B signed up at like 11:45 and I was like, dadgummit, man. Yeah.
I didn't see him Friday evening, and I was like, well, that's good. B's not fishing.
B commented, he said, laugh out loud. He said, I was 007. I don't know if he was there or not. Well, guys, I'm not keeping this any longer. Yeah. I'm gonna get on here and spin the wheel and give away 2 free entries. All you 3 are eligible to win that still. But I thank yous again.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Congrats again, Kaleb, on that mega bag. Congrats, Jacob and Luke. Yeah, and I guess I'll see you around on Santee, Jacob.
Yeah, man, I'll be there.
All right, Cody. Y'all have a great night.
All right, fellas. Kaleb, I'll be in touch with you this week.
Sounds good.
I got your plaques stacked up over here. All right, fellas. So that went well, guys. I enjoyed sitting down with these dudes. We'll go over, let me pull up the wheel, and we'll spin our free entries here, courtesy of Life Ring Ministries, giving us free entry fees to give away. Can't thank those dudes enough for the opportunity to do this. They send me $84 every month to give away these 2 free entry fees, and I'm super grateful to be able to do that. And it's nice to have something to give away to the guys, incentivize the membership a little bit here. But like I said, all that is courtesy of Life Ring Ministries. They're a Christian ministry located in Gastonia, North Carolina, and everything is confidential. You can reach out to them. You can reach out to me. If you search Life Ring on our Facebook page, it'll pull up their number and stuff. If you just ever need just someone to talk to, a friendly ear, these guys are here. They're here to serve men and give good Christian godly advice. But we appreciate them helping us this year, coming on board and giving us an opportunity to give away these entry fees for free. I got one name I need to add to the list here. Daryl. Daryl signed up this past weekend to be a member. And I forgot to add him the other night, so I'm going to add his name real quick. Add him to the list. I'll shuffle it. We're going to give away 2. Remember, if you've won one previously, you can only win 1. I'm trying to spread it around a little bit here. But you can, this entry fee will be good for whenever you want to use it. It'll be there. It doesn't necessarily have to be used on the next event. Just if you win it, you got it, and you can use it at any time. So here we'll spin the first free entry. Spun that sucker a little long. Who's it gonna be? Gonna be Andy? Be Chris? Oh yeah, roll yes. Chris Parker, you got a free entry fee. You got your choosing, buddy. I'll send you a message and let you know in case you don't see this. And we'll spin it one more time and give away another one here. A little shuffle. Spin it again. Be sure to tune in Thursday night. John House and Fenway going to be dropping some super cool news about the Purple Heart charity event. A little more details. Keep you guys in the loop what's going on there. Andy got slow rolled last time. Oh no, it's going to happen again. Andy. Oh, that hurt, man. Slow rolled twice on low. Billy Haggerty. I'll be in touch with you, let you know that you have a free entry. And if for some reason these things can't be used by these individuals, we'll give them away later. I do have one that's in the wings right now, Michael Simmers. He said he would let me know here in the next couple events. And if he doesn't use his, we'll spin his again, and I'll give his away to somebody else. But Chris Parker, Billy Haggerty, you got some free entries coming your way for an event of your choosing. But I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Went a little longer than probably wanted to, an hour and 17 minutes. Pretty good interview on the live stream, though. I enjoyed hearing these guys, what they had to say. Next event, Falls Lake, Carolina Classic, hosted by CCKF. You can sign up over on Tourney X. You can either search, if you search Carolina, it'll bring it up. Or you can search CCKF. Just put in the acronyms of that their kayak fishing club, and it'll bring it up as well. Falls Lake, May 4th. A group of us are camping down there. If anybody wants to, there'll be some spots to share, I'm sure, too. We got me and Ashley are staying at a site. We can have up to 2 tents and 2 cars. So, there's room at our campsite. Hit me up. And there's quite a few other little campsites around us. And we're right beside the bathhouse. So, but if you need any information, we're going to get on a live stream tomorrow and talk about that a little more. Probably be dropping some details later this week, and maybe even having a live stream for that. But let me know if you need any info about that. And again, guys, thank you for supporting our little club. Thank you for fishing with us. And I look forward to the next one. Y'all have a great rest of your week.